Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You have stumbled upon the Gamer Social Club vidcast. I am your host, Nathan Lockhart, and aka One Hot Dragon, and I am joined by F Bomb Frazier, the horror for horror. How are you today, Frazier?
Nathan, my friend, I am doing so well.
I am glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it, and I am also joined by Don't Tussle with Russell the Muscle. How Russell casualties of gaming. I can't see. I remember that you said the nickname had something to do with muscle. You, what were you in
So
high
so
Russ,
school?
so so to answer the question, I was doing fine until I heard whatever the fuck that was.
and now I'm emotional.
Love muscle.
Love
Russell the
muscle.
love muscle. I don't know what that was. Jesus
You
Christ.
don't tussle with Russell the love muscle.
Yeah. Oh
Russell's
my
so
goodness.
done with my shit
that
right now.
that has all kinds of like innuendos and anyway.
I'll bet.
I am doing after that we'll say neutral.
I'm doing neutral. Thank you, you son of a bitch. Oh yeah, I'm the worst, aren't I? Okay.
How are you, Nathan? How are
I
you going, bud?
Yeah.
I am waking up. I woke straight up out of bed and rolled on over here and pressed the record button. But I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Sleep's been wacky this week, but other than that, yeah, I've been doing good. Been staying busy. Uh, I also found. I'll get into that here in a little bit. But yes. But first, today we are going to talk about the Red Dead PC port, Xbox coming to your phone, Halo is switching over to Unreal Engine 5, and we're also going to be talking about Silent Hill 2. Russell has reviewed it, so we're going to be talking about that. The Gamer Social Club is a place where gamers from all around the world come and share their love for video games together in a positive environment. Our goal is to give gamers a platform to share their experiences, to add to the conversation in the games industry, to give more gamers a sense of community, and bring a little more happiness into your life. So now that we've gotten
It was
through.
lovely, man.
Oh,
It was
thank you.
lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Now
I,
that
I
we've
feel,
gotten
I feel.
floating on a cloud. Um, so yeah, now that we've gotten through the new intro, hopefully y'all like that. Then yeah, so we'll get into what we've been up to, which was what I was about ready to say. No, this week I found out some exciting news, and that is every year I really like trying to go to Comic Con here in Columbus, and so I'll just randomly open up to see like who's going to be in attendance of the Comic Con. And one, I was like, last time I checked, Logic. For some reason, Logic is going to be there, so I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But like, shoot, the guy who voices Marcus Phoenix, the person I'm really excited about is Sam Witwer. I'm really excited to meet him. I really want to order a Star Wars Force Unleashed 2 Steelbook to have him sign that. That'd be awesome.
That'd be sick.
I know, right? But I love Sam Witwer. Anytime I see him in anything, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love that. Which, let's not talk about Callisto Protocol. But we, um, but anyways, yeah. So I checked it this week, and I could not believe my eyes when I saw who was coming to Columbus Comic Con. Hayden Christensen is gonna be there.
No way.
I am
Okay,
like,
that'd be
No
pretty cool.
way. That'd be amazing.
I know, and like some of the pictures are like already selling out and stuff. So I'm already like getting a group together and trying to like gather them. I'm gonna go into a comic book store tomorrow, and I'm like, here, just fucking take all of it. Take all my comics.
Yeah.
I can
I
always
need,
buy new
yeah, I
comics
need
later.
something.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I've been over the moon all week about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool getting to meet him. Um, so yeah,
So cool.
yeah, that's kind of what I me thinking about getting to meet Anakin Skywalker has kind of been my week. But I other than that, I've just been playing Callisto Protocol and I have been playing Diablo Vessel of Hatred. Have gotten only a little bit of time in to each of them. Um, there's not too much to update on other than I am doing a little better with Callisto Protocol. I'm doing what you said, Fraser. I am trying to look at this more of an action adventure type game, not like more of a hack and slash than a horror. And I'm enjoying it more from that perspective. I feel like, and I mentioned this in the chat, I feel like the execution is a new thing. Like where you hit somebody 2 or 3 times and then you're able to like whip out your gun. I feel like that's new. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
not.
been there. Yeah, it's been there since day one.
Okay, yeah. Maybe it's just that I didn't use it much because you played the game on the most, on the most hardest. You played the game on the hardest difficulty, right?
Oh, dude, it was a fucking slog.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did
Yep,
you,
I did.
did you use it much? Like the execution?
Um, no, because you get bugger all ammo, and you really have to save the ammo for when the tentacles come out, because once they transform, they become so much harder to take down.
Okay.
So I just saved all my ammo.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's probably why I don't remember it because I don't think I ever used it when I first played it. And I played it on the
yeah,
hardest difficulty. And I think that's part of the reason I'm having a better time with it this time around because I am playing it on normal and I'm just kind of like whipping through it and just kind of having fun with it. Um,
yeah.
so I'm definitely having a better time with it, but I still have the same complaint of like when you reach two more than one enemy, it's like, oh no, you're gonna get hit by this dude because you're in a fight with this dude. Like you're fighting one guy and then a second guy comes up and hits you while you're in combat with this guy and there's no way
Yeah.
around that. Like that just feels like a game design flaw to me. Sorry, I don't mean to yuck on your yum, Steve.
No.
um, but yeah, no, that's just so far. That's still my biggest complaint. But I am feeling a little higher on it. I figured you guys would be glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, that is good. It's very good.
And you've already wrapped credits on it. What have you been up to lately, Fraser?
Dude, I've had a pretty big week this week. Like I said, I've smashed through Callisto Protocol on the maximum difficulty. Luckily, I played it on day one, and so I had a new game plus ready to go. So while it was difficult, it was much easier than doing a like a straight hard run. The I completely agree with what you're saying with the combat of one on one. It's fun. It's really good taking, hit for hit kind of thing. But when you face 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 enemies at a time, you lose control of what's actually happening. And I have noticed that when you are in combat with someone, the others do kind of hang back a little bit. But the moment you finish that combo, they rush in.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
there were just a couple of bits that I got stuck on because I didn't have any ammo. Mainly those guys with the 2 heads. I think
Yeah,
there's four separate parts that you fight those guys. The first 2, piece of cake. The third and fourth time I fought him, I just had no ammo. So
right.
I just died over and over, and it's instant kill for them.
Hmm.
So yeah, rolled credits on that. Um, I'm going to play the DLC, but I'll probably do that a bit further in the month, just on normal or even easy, just to experience the end. And I've heard some good things about it wrapping up the story properly
Hmm.
because the end of Callisto Protocol was pretty meh. Like that final boss was not that great. It kind of I don't know, just at the end they kind of just decided that they didn't want to make a horror game anymore. They were just going to make a full-on action game
Hmm.
and it was it didn't fit. So, yeah, played Callisto Protocol. I have put a lot of time into Diablo 4. I I finished the campaign of Vessel of Hatred, and I think I'm level 58 or 59. So at some point this week, we'll have to jump in and try and put some levels on that. I jumped in with Jeff a couple of times. It's fun, dude. It's real fun.
That's awesome.
Loads of fun with that.
What level have you
And
made it to so far?
in Vessel,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm 58 or 59. Like I'm almost max level.
Damn.
Yeah, it's quick, dude. You put on those potions, and there's also a new drinkable or whatever they call them in this game that gives you a plus 15% to your experience gain.
Oh,
So
sheesh, okay.
just been pumping those, and I was level 45 odd by the time I finished the campaign, and with no dungeons, no anything extra.
Okay.
So the leveling process has been sped up drastically, which is fantastic because if you have to start again every season, that grind is. I mean, I've only done one,
Yep.
and I'm already like sick of it.
Yep. They've made the grind so much easier to deal with, especially with like the new Paragon system. It's like, and then when you get to level 60, it's like, okay, I feel a little stronger because I've already maxed out another character, which is amazing. I already felt that way because, like, whenever we were reviewing it, you had to start out as if you've never played it before. And oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
that was rough.
you could feel it. It was so slow. You didn't have your horse. You also, like, had to, shoot, what else was there? Yeah, there was a whole bunch of other stuff too, where it's all your health potions. That was the biggest thing. Is like you got 4 health potions, and it was just so funny because like the first combat you come into upon the DLC was so difficult if you've never touched the game, and I was like, wow, I was really struggling. I was dodging every move, and I had to be a freaking ninja. And then I went to Spiritborn in my actual game when the game actually released, and I just walked up to that same scene. I was like, goodbye. You are dead.
Yeah, it was cool because you get those 10 points or 9 points right off the bat.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's doing that, and then also I purchased Starship Troopers Extermination.
Yeah, I saw you and Steve talking about that in the chat.
Yes. It's fucking weird, dude. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not what I expected at all. There's a 25 mission campaign which I finished in about 2 hours last night. But the draw card is the 16 player PvE. It is wild.
Really?
You spawn in, and everyone spawns in at once, and you're in. I think there's 4 or 5 groups of 4. And so they're your squads, and you'll have to run off and do different things.
Yeah.
And bring back resources and actually build defenses.
Okay.
Like in the movie. And you stand on the walls shooting down at the arachnids that are coming at you, and they do what they do in the movies. They pile up against the walls. And they start running up over the walls, and there's like hundreds of them, and it's really fun. I've never played Helldivers, so I don't know what it's like compared to that. This has got the double A jank to it. It's definitely not polished. And this morning I was an hour and a half into a horde match, and I lost connection. And that's an hour and a half just gone. No mid-match resources or XP or anything like that.
I hate that.
So that really bummed me out because I was really enjoying it, and I think with 4 others or even 16 others, if you can get together 16 people, you can actually make a squad of 16 and play together. So, so good. So good.
I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah. It was released on PC. I'm gonna say last year or maybe the year
Oh,
before.
okay, okay,
And it's just been released on console.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun. It's first person. You've got these guns with massive magazines, but they are so hard to aim. You pull the trigger and it just goes everywhere. But because there's so many enemies running at you, anything gets hit anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've gone like a class system. So there's like the medics, there's the devastators, there's the things and the stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, really, really enjoying it.
That was.
Hopefully they fix the. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that seems to be the only big comparison to Helldivers 2 that you've mentioned is the fact that like the way you shoot and aim, it's like the gun goes everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully they fix the servers because, like, once I'm like gutted, but if I play another match and I lose that again, I dare say that that'll be my time with this game over.
Okay.
Which sucks because it is a fun game.
Mhm.
But if the matches are 2 hours long and they're dropping out,
Right.
no
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Um.
So
Hopefully
yeah,
that
that's
doesn't
what I've
happen
been
to you.
doing.
That way you can continue to have a great time, and then that way,
yes.
every game that Steve loves, we don't have to shit on.
Yeah. Right.
um.
So yeah, I'll have this. I'm gonna say I'll have this finished probably this afternoon,
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
I'm reviewing it for the Gamer Social Club. So
Oh, cool.
that review should be up by the end of the weekend.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Russell, what have you been up to?
Not a ton. As far as gaming goes, most of my week was spent playing Silent Hill 2, finishing that. Which that review's up on the website as of a few hours ago, whatever the hell it was.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants to check that out, which will, I guess, get into that a little bit later or whatever. But there was that. I've been neglecting my YouTube channel in how can I put this? Because of Silent Hill 2. But as it turns out, in my absence, my YouTube channel has climbed over 2,000 views. So I
Wow.
don't know how the hell that
That's amazing,
happened.
dude.
That is amazing.
Oh, actually, I know exactly how that happened. My Alien Isolation short.
Ah.
It was probably it corresponds with the exact day that the sequel was announced. So that makes a lot of sense actually.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All hail the YouTube algorithm, I guess. But
Yeah.
By the way, check out the shorts on my YouTube channel if you want to. If you want to kind of laugh your ass off about some nerd complaining about real life or throwing switches away and pissing people off, apparently, or whatever. Shameless plug.
Love it.
But that's other than work. That's like more or less it. I've picked up a couple indie games, indie horror games, but not really. I haven't really dived into them or anything, so I can't really speak to them. One's supposed to be a lot like Silent Hill, so I'm sure I'll enjoy that one. But that is about it.
Do you think you're not going to get into Callisto Protocol this month?
Fuck, it's only the 10th. I probably will. Going into the month, I finished off Dead Space remake again, which, god damn it, EA, that remake is a masterpiece. But you've gotta fix the traversal. When I was waiting for the day I was waiting last Saturday for Silent Hill 2 to drop, because I bought the deluxe edition, I started playing Alien Isolation. And yeah, I might have to dive into that before the month's over. I've never actually played it, just heard about it.
Right.
If you're nostalgic for the first movie, you need to play Alien Isolation.
Okay.
Like it opens
on my
up
list.
with it opens up with the 20th Century Fox logo. All the cutscenes have like a rustic look to them that almost looks like you're playing an old VHS.
So cool.
The gameplay is awesome. If you like, it's definitely kind of a jump scare type thing. But then Silent Hill 2 came out, and
Yeah, everything out the
yeah,
window, right?
Yeah, yep,
basically, yeah.
yep.
Basically, all the other games I was playing, my fucking YouTube channel, all of it was just I didn't
Just
care
that.
at that point.
Get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Love it.
now that we've had a chance to catch up, let's go ahead and hop right on into the most useless news segment. Do either one of you know why it's called the why is it the most useless news segment?
Well, Nathan, it's because if you followed us on any socials at all, you would already know all this information. So,
That's exactly right.
yeah, make sure you do. Gamersocialclub.ca.
That's right.
Twitter, gamer_s_c.
You
I
got
think
it.
we're on Instagram too, but I don't know what that handle is.
I think it's the same. We should probably figure that out, shouldn't
Yep.
we?
Yeah, yeah. But no,
I'll look
follow
it
us on
up.
socials.
Yes, follow
We're
us
on
on socials.
Instagram?
We are on
Yeah.
Instagram, but Dano runs it, but it's one of those things where Dano is he's pretty new to Instagram, so it's not like he's still kind of trying to get a uh, grip on how to run it and whatnot. Let's see, I'm looking it up right now, so I can.
Instagram is so weird.
It is very different.
Yeah. It's all about reels and stuff now, and I don't have yeah.
Yes, it is.
Like I post yeah.
It's the same thing. It is gamer_social club, which we can add this to our links below
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So you guys can follow this. But yeah, so he does post on here. I'd say definitely the best place to follow is X though. That's definitely where we get the most views and stuff from. All right, so anyways, let's get right into the Red Dead PC port. Russell, take it away.
Okay, so this is kind of a two-in-one thing because we have two different articles. We have the initial announcement and then we have the price reveal. Um, so obviously, I do want to chime in on one. Oh, I'm already chiming in. I'm talking. Um, I find it interesting that actually Rockstar last PlayStation, it's PlayStation 4. You can play it on PlayStation 5, backwards compatible. I don't think Xbox got this port that came out last year, but it's still for sale on Xbox, and you can play it through back compat if you have the disc like I do. They told us last year, when PC players were asking about it when it came out, I think it was last year, the port would be impossible and didn't. It's something about the code in the back end. So this announcement at all is interesting. Um, I got pretty hyped about it. And then the price got revealed. I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the day before that. Didn't really get announced. The pre-order page went up on um, Rockstar's launcher to the tune of $49.99 US or $69.99 Canadian, um, which seems a little steep, but
That's
at the
quite a
same
lot,
time,
isn't it?
that's maybe not PlayStation, definitely Switch. Which I'm not. I don't have the sticker shock that a lot of people do, but at the same time, seems a little ridiculous for a game that's 14 years old. Um, but what are your
I,
guys' thoughts on that?
I will say that Red Dead Redemption has one of the greatest DLCs ever released. The
100%.
Undead Nightmare
Yeah,
is
which you are getting in this. No
it's
online though.
phenomenal.
The online multiplayer that was in the game is not in the game anymore, I
Yeah,
guess.
that
So,
doesn't surprise me. But yeah,
yeah.
so are you saying that this is the first time it's available on PC?
Officially, yes.
Officially, yeah.
I want to make
Yep.
that very clear, and you can make what you will of that statement.
Yeah.
But yeah, officially from Rockstar, this is the first time this game has been on PC. We've had Red Dead 2 for I think it came out like a year and a half, 2 years after the that it
Hmm.
initially came to PS4 and PS5. So we've had that one for a while, but this one, yeah,
It's an
would be the
interesting
first time.
decision because, like you said, it's 14 years old. They kind of told us that it couldn't be done, and now it has been done. And realistically, am I gonna go and buy this for my PC? No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. Even even if it was $15, I don't think I would. Brilliant game, don't get me wrong, but it's such a massive game, and like we've got Red Dead 2 that just plays so much better. The online stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like at this point, it's
I
been a while since you played Red Dead Redemption 2 that it's like, why wouldn't I just go back to Red Dead Redemption 2 at this point?
Mm. Yeah.
I will definitely be picking this up. I think, given the price tag I'm looking at,
So that'd be 70
50,
odd for me.
yeah, $50 Canadian or Canadian US. Sorry, I listed both of the prices because we are a Canadian website. It's $70 Canadian. I think I'll probably wait for a 50% off sale.
Yeah.
There's always the outside chance that it drops, and then like I get a hair up my ass and buy it, but I don't see it. Oh, noteworthy! It's coming out on October 29th, which is actually an entire year after the ports came to PlayStation and Switch. So,
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's typically in Rockstar fashion, right? We'll like give you the PC port like a year or two afterwards. I I mean,
almost makes
sure,
sense.
I don't mind. Here's my thing is like it's been so long ago that I played Red Dead Redemption that I could see myself picking this up just because I all I remember about that game is the ending. So it would be really cool to revisit that. It would be really cool to revisit the Undead Nightmare because, like Fraser said, it is like one of the best DLCs of all time. So it's like whenever I do buy a PC, there are a lot of games that I'm going to revisit. Uh, so I think that's probably gonna make the list, probably. But it's hard to say because again, it's the thing of it's 14 years old. It's a really long game, takes a lot of time out of your day, and like Fraser said, even if it's $15, that's still money out of your wallet that you are taking away from new releases, and especially like forget about even talking about getting it on release because that's 2 days before Dragon Age. It's 2 days before the new call. Then it's like also Call of Duty too. Doesn't that come out the same weekend? Black Ops.
Yeah, I think 25th.
oh,
Yeah.
I think Black Ops is the 25th.
So then that's also another thing. Like so many people are going to be playing Call of Duty. So yeah, that's kind of my thing with that. Were you going to say something else about it, Russell?
No, I had the price reveal article pulled up, and then I just pulled up the actual hey, it's coming out details about it. Native 4K support up to 144 hertz. Monitor support for both ultra wide and super ultra wide. 32.9. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a super ultra wide monitor before. HDR10 support, full mouse and keyboard functionality. Controller isn't listed, but I don't know why that wouldn't be there. NVIDIA DLSS 3.7 support, AMD FSR 3.0. Jesus Christ. And then NVIDIA DLSS frame gen. So all the bells and whistles that you get with all the PC nerdiness.
See, that is
Cool.
that is.
I would
cool.
like to see a super ultra wide monitor in person. That seems insane.
And play some Red Dead on it. Play a 14-year-old Red Dead game on it.
Yeah, stretched to like half of my wall.
They
You're
are
like,
gigantic.
he's over there, and you're like, wow. Yeah.
I love that. We've also got news about the Steam Deck coming to Australia.
Australia, mate.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Fraser?
I didn't know it wasn't available in Australia, to be honest. I had no idea that was a thing. I'm sure that there were places that you could like parallel import it or or get it like online and get it sent here. I I'm not a Steam Deck user. I feel I don't know. There's certain games that are fantastic for it, right? So like when just to go on a bit of a tangent, when I bought my Switch, I bought Diablo 3, Pokemon, and Borderlands the pre-sequel. And Diablo is the perfect kind of game for a handheld device. I play it on my phone when my wife's in the lounge. I might sit beside her and play some on my phone or whatever. But anything that has really quick movement or shooting, I found it too clunky, and I couldn't like Borderlands the pre-sequel. I really struggled to play that on the Switch, and it's just gone on from there. Like the Steam Deck's come out, and like I love the idea of it. I also worry about the tech inside it becoming obsolete quickly, and with it being so expensive, like I don't know. I don't know enough about it to have a proper decision.
Yeah. And it would make a difference if you were primarily playing on PC. And yet, because now I feel like I remember reading in Russell's article about it. What's it cost in Australian dollars, Russell?
I actually have that pulled up. So to backtrack a little bit, yes, Fraser, it has been available on third-party websites. It's available at something Krogan, I think is how you pronounce that. Kogan. I have no idea what that is. Sales reports on there go up to, and I think even slightly past, $1,300 in your
Yep.
guys' country currency.
So to put that in perspective, the PlayStation 5 Pro that's coming out was 1,300
Yeah.
AUD. So essentially, it's the same price as that.
And and that specifically was for the 1 terabyte OLED model. So that, as far as Steam Deck goes, that's like the upper echelon.
Okay.
As far as price goes, that one is going to be available for $1,049. The 512 model will be available for $899, and then the 256 gig LCD model will be available for $649. So
Okay.
exactly half of a PS5, actually.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind the 512 and the 1 terabyte are OLED, and then the 256 is like the old LCD model, which is actually what I have.
What are your thoughts on? Would you upgrade to the OLED?
I have toyed around with that idea. So one of the other cool things, I don't know if the OLED has the anti-glare coating on it or not. It used to come in the 64 gig, the 256, and the 512. And the 512 with the LCD models was the only one you could get with the anti-glare. I don't even think you'd need that with an OLED panel.
Yeah.
Personally. But I just bought the 64 gig model and swapped out the SSD. But I'm that kind of guy. So one thing to keep in mind, the prices aren't listed. You can buy refurbished Steam Decks through Valve directly. I didn't see anywhere where the prices will be. I could look up really fast what they are on Steam though, but I guess it doesn't.
Well,
Really
I feel like for us, it's
you,
in the $300 range, is it not?
Yeah, I think the. You know what? Give me a minute.
See, another thing that you have to think about in Australia here, I've noticed that a lot of websites don't actually ship to Australia anymore, or if they do, it's very expensive.
Ugh.
So, like, I was looking at getting the special edition for Space Marine 2 from I think it was the Focus website, and shipping was just not available.
Ugh.
So, I would assume that, buying it through somewhere like Valve, I don't know if they'd ship to Australia. Wouldn't have a clue.
Well, that's the thing, is Valve is basically announcing that they're shipping there. As far as the refurbished stuff goes, I don't know. So I've got it pulled up here. So they actually, all the old models, the old LCD models, those are the ones they have listed here. The old 64 gig is out of stock, but when you can get it, it's $280 American.
Mm-hmm.
The 256 gig LCD is 319, also out of stock right now. And then the old 512 LCD with that light resistant panel thing I was talking about, um, that one is 360.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly what I'm sure I could bring up some sort of translator to Aussie dollars or whatever the hell they're called over there. But
Dollary dues.
Dollary dues.
yeah, dollary dues.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea as far as America. I mean, if the one is $400 here, the 256 gig when it's new, and that translates to like 650. I mean, around 300. What is that, like 500-ish dollars, something like that?
Yeah. Something like
So
that.
assuming they'll ship the refurbished ones over there, which again that wasn't in their announcement, but I don't really see why you wouldn't. But I don't.
Mm.
Valve's refurbished stuff. I've never bought it. You still get the 1-year warranty that you get with all of their new shit.
Okay, that's good to know.
So yeah, that's now I don't know as far as their warranty goes. Sending it back and getting it back, that would be time consuming, I would imagine.
Yep.
Which would suck. But I've used that. I had to RMA mine. I had the left bumper broke about 3 weeks before my warranty was up. I have modded sticks. I have a modded SSD. Well, not modded. I replaced it. Sent it to them. They didn't even say anything about that shit. They just fixed the bumper and sent it back.
Good.
That's awesome.
Good.
I see
Yeah.
that because that's my main concern about getting an OLED model, because I could see myself getting an OLED model because I feel like once I do finally get one, I'm going to be on it all the time, and I would want the best quality out of that. I don't know, Fraser, have you ever like gone to the store and just looked at the OLED models and been like, this is a step up?
I've seen. I don't think the Steam Decks are, because we don't have them in Australia, right? So
Well,
they.
I don't mean Steam Decks,
like-
but just like a TV. Like whenever you
Oh,
go to Walmart,
yeah.
you see the OLED models, and you're
Yeah.
just like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!"
when black is black, it's
Yeah.
not just like a turned off pixel. It's like actually black.
Mhm.
Yeah, gorgeous,
Ah.
absolutely gorgeous.
I don't have an OLED TV, but I would
No.
love one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why that was the only thing I was like, I bet you that would be a really cool step up. But the thing is OLED screens go bad quickly. So as long as
Right.
Valve is offering a good replacement, like warranty for if the screen goes dead or bad, then I'm on board. But that is definitely something to be hesitant about, because I know when OLED models first came out, that was something to be wary of because there was no warranty to back it up. But now I think most brands offer a OLED replacement warranty that's longer than the regular warranty. Do you know anything about that, Russell? Am I wrong about that?
I don't. OLED panels have gotten like better though. I watched a YouTube channel, Bob Wolf. He did an experiment with the Switch OLED where he literally left it on for an entire year, and the burn-in that it caused was very faint. And that's literally like he has it fucking on, and then in game and stationary. I think it was Breath of the Wild, and like you could kind of see where the heart meters were starting to burn in, and that's being
That's
on
wild. Yeah.
24/7 365 for an entire year. So I would imagine it would take you years before you would see something like that.
Right.
But
Now, on to the next piece of news that we have here. A Quiet Place is going to sense your microphone sounds, which is good. As soon as I saw that go by in the Discord chat, I was like, oh my gosh, this is. I can see all the YouTube clips of people like freaking out and having some good horror moments. I cannot wait for this game. Russell, you're the one that suggested we talk about this. What do you want to talk about when it comes to this piece of news?
I was not the person that brought this.
Oh, sorry.
This guy.
Hey.
I didn't have heaps to say about it, but I was just thinking back to even the Alien Isolation. Like that was a feature that Alien Isolation had
Yeah.
as well. And I think that adding it to this is going to make it so much more fun. And like you said, it's going to be funny, like watching streamers and people like that play it, because it just adds that more element to it of like, shh, guys, I can't talk right now. I need to sneak through this part.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's going to be great. I'm hoping that it's just going to be a feature and it's not going to be a thing where
You
it has to
have
be
have-
done.
oof. Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
I don't see how or why they would do that. That'd be because not everyone plays through a headset. Not everyone has microphones. Not everyone plays online. But yeah, I just thought I read that and saw that, and I thought, what a like that's the perfect place to add something like this. Like they started doing it with the Connect, and it kind of fell off.
Mhm.
But this is just going to show that like you don't need the Connect to do stuff like this. Yeah, awesome.
That
I'm on board.
it makes me think that like I might want to get this on PlayStation just because the PlayStation controllers have a microphone in them. So I was like, well, maybe that's how I'll play
Ooh.
it. Uh,
That's cool.
oh,
Look
hey, Russell got a DualSense.
I will talk about this more when Silent Hill 2 comes up. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna be modding this to look like a PS2 controller.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, nice.
I might actually have to. I just, as you two were talking, I just kind of skimmed through this. This sounds really interesting. I might have to give this a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
October 17th. No price though yet.
It's not a lot. I don't think maybe there isn't a price, but I feel like I remember seeing a price somewhere and thinking, "Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's not an expensive game."
Yeah.
If there
It's
is,
it
not
for A
posted.
Quiet Place.
Yeah.
$30. It is $30 US
yeah.
dollars. Yeah, because
it's just not listed in our article. But
okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
probably should be. Oh, Dano, I was gonna scold you, Russell. I was like,
I was gonna
wait
say,
a
I
minute,
didn't-
Dano
you-
wrote it.
Keep my name out of your
Dano.
filthy mouth. I didn't write this.
Yay.
love it. So yeah, that's it. I'm excited. It's only a couple of days away now. I think a week maybe. Exciting times.
It 5
10th or
more days. 5
Oh,
more
look at
day,
that.
guys. I am so excited for this game. I'm ready to go. I think I'm definitely going to review this on PlayStation. We're both going to be reviewing it together, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We'll figure
Oh,
something
yeah.
out.
We'll figure that out. So let's get into the next news story. Keep this ball rolling because we've still got the two biggest news stories left to go. And then the one that I brought to the table as far as news goes was the Xbox is coming to your Android phone. So one of the things that happened this week was there was a lawsuit roundup, like the I'm gonna try to pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. From the sum of it, Google and Epic were in a lawsuit, and the judge ruled that Google was doing some illegal shit, and to put it in legal terms, and
naughty.
so they were naughty. Epic won. There's a good chance that Google will appeal this, which I'll go back to that here in a second. So what this means is that Google has to open up their app store to third-party app stores, basically, or marketplaces. So things like the Xbox Marketplace can now be fully available on your Google Play app, basically. So you can go into Google Play, download the Xbox app, and then you'll have the entire ecosystem of the Xbox there. So that's kind of the big changing factor. And of course the whole reason Epic went to Google to fight this out over was the same thing they went to Apple for, which was, hey, they're taking a chunk of money out of every sale we make, and it doesn't feel fair, and so they fought them on that, and they're like, we're fighting for the little guy. It's like, let's be real, like, they're fighting for themselves. They're just, trying to sound like the big guys.
Microsoft the big guy.
Yeah, exactly. And like Microsoft's, yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, it does help the small developers because then they can actually charge what they want to charge, and it goes directly to them. So this is all great for a lot of people. Whenever I read Tom Warren's article on The Verge about it, and he was kind of saying that, like, Google is threatening that people don't understand, and this is going to have unseen repercussions and stuff, but, that's a lot of more lawyer talk of we lost and we're not happy. So here's the issue is, like, if they appeal it, which is what Apple did, and then they came back for round 2 and won for the most part, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't know all my facts, so I'm not going to attempt to talk about something that I don't know what I'm talking about. So from my understanding, when it comes to this Google lawsuit, though, if they choose to appeal, then that means everything has to be put on hold. Everything has to be put on pause, which is the most confusing part for me, because I'm like, why would Sarah Bond come out and say anything so quickly? And when I say Sarah Bond, that was the news. Sarah Bond came out this week. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm like telling the story backwards.
You're right. Carry on.
But Sarah Bond came out this week and said that they are bringing the Xbox ecosystem to Android phones through the Google Play Store. You will be able to buy and play games. That was the exact wording. You will be able to buy and play games through your Android phone. So, I mean, the assumption is that you would use xCloud. This is something we talked about in the Discord chat. It's a thing of like, okay, are we playing the games natively or not? I know that, again, this is Android specific. We can't play it on iPhone yet. But if we did play it on iPhone, it's like the iPhone's strong enough to play Resident Evil 7 and 8 and 4 Remake. So
And Death Stranding.
So it's like, are we going to start seeing Samsung phones like show off the fact that, hey, we can now play these games too? Or if it's on Game Pass, we can play it natively. I mean, because if we see that, then it's like, okay, like, we're all about to get the brand new phone. And something else to consider is, I know that I think it's China, they mostly play on their phones. Like, here in the Western side, we primarily play on consoles, and then they play on their phones primarily. So, bringing the Xbox ecosystem to phones would be very huge for them. So, I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about the legal stuff. I tried to speak very vaguely on the legal stuff because I don't know a whole bunch of facts when it comes to that stuff. I just know the outcomes of what's happening, the possibilities of what might happen, and I don't even know what the repercussions could be. But I think it's very interesting. I think the idea of being able to play natively anything that I buy on Xbox, and it's something that I continuously go back to, of like the different features between all three ecosystems, right? Like, I'm going to get a quiet place because of the microphone on my DualSense. If I ever finally get a Steam Deck, like, that's going to play a part in if I buy a game on PC. So now it's going to be a thing where Xbox is adding this feature where it's like, okay, I buy my game and I have it on my phone, I have it on my PC, I've got it everywhere. So then that adds a lot more value to the Xbox ecosystem, which is exactly what I've been wanting to hear come out of Xbox, because you guys know I've been leaning away from it.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on it. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I think for Sarah to come out so quickly makes me feel that they've been sitting on this for ages and it's already ready to go, and they're just waiting for something to happen so they could just flick a switch and and it's good to go. Because I, as I say almost every week, I use cloud gaming every day, at least 2 hours a day. It would be incredible to be able to play not just Game Pass games, because like at the moment, I can't remember what it's called, but you know when you turn on your Xbox and then you can use another screen, is a screen share or something. I can do that on my phone now, but I have to be at home connected to the same network, so I can play my Xbox games on my phone on my couch, but I can't leave home and do it. So if I can sit on the train for an hour and play Diablo 4 or whatever I'm playing at the moment, that's going to change so much. And like you said, I think people are wanting something from Xbox. I and this might be it.
Yeah.
This might be the thing to be like, well, do you know what? Maybe I don't need an Xbox to play my games anymore. Maybe I can do it all on my phone. And people might see that as a bad sign, but like you said, in China or those Asian countries, I have a friend who his whole YouTube thing is about mobile gaming, and that's all he does. He just does mobile gaming, and it's huge. And there's games that I'm like, I didn't even know that this was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think if they can break into that sort of market, that might be the kind of foot in the door for Xbox to start making maybe a bit of a comeback.
Right.
Who knows?
Right. And I mean, honestly, cell phone technology is like getting so advanced. And I know for most of us console gamers, we're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, but nothing's ever going to replace the living room experience. But like,
No.
what if, just what if you walked into your living room and set your phone down on the dock like a Nintendo Switch and you jumped right into the game? I mean, you've already got the Bluetooth. You've already got like you could pop in your Bluetooth earbuds and
Yep.
turn on your Xbox controller and it automatically connects to your phone. Um, and what's crazy is, and I know this isn't even a super great comparison, but Prime Day happened this past week, and I had it in my cart because I almost did it. But they were having this crazy deal for $799.99, which is the price of a brand new Xbox controller. There was that new translucent blue Xbox controller,
Mm-hmm.
along with a month of
Yeah.
Game Pass and a 4K Fire Stick TV stick, which came out to like 150, 160 bucks for $80. Um, I was like, okay, I might actually get this just because I'm needing a new controller. And then I realized what the bundle was. I'm like, oh, they're selling the Xbox Stream Stick is what they're selling. You know, at
They're just giving
$150.
you a free controller.
Yep, because they, even if you slide on the pictures to see what's in the bundle, they even have a very specific picture design, like, hey, you know, you're buying an Xbox, like they're trying to sell that. And I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. Like that makes sense. Like that's the vision that they're trying to get to. I just don't think, I know we've said it 100 times, I just don't think the tech's 100% there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, then Russell, did you have any thoughts on that, or do you want to jump right into the Halo Unreal news?
I mean, I don't have like a ton of thoughts on this. This kind of stems more from the Apple lawsuit than anything else. I only say that because, like, yeah, the Google Play Store is a walled off garden, similar to Apple, but they don't have like I have a Samsung phone. You can sideload apps on this. You can
Mm.
go on to other websites and download apps. It's not the walled off garden that Apple is. I did flip through the article a little bit. I'm wondering if the entire so Google's already said they're going to appeal. So we know that's coming. I'm wondering if this doesn't get modified somehow. Because like there's a looking at the article here, there's a list of things that are supposedly being changed. We'll have to wait and see how many of those actually go through.
Yeah.
but I mean, they're certainly gonna be appealing it, so it'll get put on hold, and then it will take a while. I know companies like Xbox and Epic have been wanting to do this. This kind of stems from uh, Epic and the whole Fortnite debacle on Apple originally. Something about how Apple didn't allow third-party apps to have links to take you to a different website so you could buy stuff because then it cuts them out of their 30%. I think is
Yeah.
how that started, and they Epic basically told Apple to go fuck themselves and did it anyway. And then that was a whole mess. Like now, I think you can do that on Apple, but it was technically a contract violation. So I don't remember exactly how all that ended. But I mean, if it helps other game companies, particular indie ones and stuff, I don't see why it wouldn't. But again, we'll wait and see like what ends up happening with this in the end. It's not over, unfortunately.
Oh no, not at all. It's going to be very interesting, and I love the what Fraser brought up about the whole entire like Sarah Bond so quickly did it, like talked about it that they must have been sitting on this for a while and like prepared to do this. So that it does make me wonder like what's been up their sleeves, what's in their realm of thinking when it comes to this topic. But let's go ahead and move right on into the because we are at 56 minutes, so we still got one more news segment and then all this other stuff to get into. So let's quickly talk about. Hey, I think next week we're probably going to start out with the biggest news and then go into the smaller news. That way we don't have to like skip through the biggest parts. So yeah, because this is not small news. Halo team is coming to Unreal Engine 5. They're completely switching engines. They've renamed the studios from 343 Industries to Halo Studios. Now, the first thing that pops out to me about this is the fact that in our last episode, which we recorded 2 days before this happened, I was talking about this, was I not? I was talking about the fact that it was like, because I went back and listened to that episode, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and when I was listening to it, I had like randomly brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, developers going over to help out. Like part of the issue with that Halo Infinite was the fact that they weren't able to churn out content fast enough because they would hire on contractors to come in and help with it, but they had to be completely retrained to learn that engine. So my first thing that I'm thinking when I find out this news, I'm like, this is going to make it so much easier for them to churn out more content, more knowledgeable people to be able to easily come in and contribute to the game. So while this isn't the answer to all of their problems, it answers a lot of their problems. I listened to that podcast that you suggested, Press X to Start, or
Press Start, Press Start
yes,
Australia. Yeah,
yes,
those boys are funny.
yes. I listened to that this week, and they were talking about that, and they seemed to be very negative about it, and just like, oh yeah, this isn't going to help them at all. And I disagree. Again, just
Yeah.
based off of my one argument that this is going to make it so much easier for newcomers to come in and contribute, I think fixes the problem. The one thing that they said on the podcast that I blatantly disagree with is that the game came out with so many issues. The game did not come out with issues. The problem was the follow up. Like, because I've had people tell me or argue with me, oh yeah, people keep putting out unfinished games, unreleased games, and using Halo Infinite as an example. That is not a good example. Halo Infinite came out and it was in your face great. I mean, I don't know if y'all watch the Game Awards, but like people were talking about it at the Game Awards, and it was already winning awards and stuff. If I remember correctly, I think it won like Player's Choice of Multiplayer or something like that. I don't know. I'm speaking out of my ass, so I'm not going to try to sit here and pretend like I know which award it won. But I feel like it did win one. Anyways, people were happy with it on release. Everybody was like, "Oh, Halo's back," and I was happy with it. And the thing was, is it just didn't have the content. And they said,
Yeah.
"Here's the roadmap to what we're going to have for you," and they did not follow through. In fact, they kept pushing back and pushing back. And then when they did drop it, it was very underwhelming. And then after that, it was, we don't have the content we said we were going to have. We're going to add co-op. We don't have that. We're going to add a story DLC. We're canceling that. That was the issue. Not that they put out an unfinished game. Not that they put out a bad game on day one. It was that we didn't follow through with what we said we were going to do for this game. Ultimately, the game needed a couple more years to cook, probably. Maybe one more year to cook. Not because it wasn't finished, but because it needed more ready for after it actually released.
Yeah.
I think that's where it fell through. So yeah, what are your guys' takes on your feelings on this news?
Do you want to start, Russell?
You go first, because I'm gonna get negative, Nancy.
Or do we want to put your negative Nancy in the middle of my positive? Because like, I'm actually mine's not. I don't have heaps to say.
Okay.
I just think that Infinite was a really good game, like you said. They tried something new with the open world, with the thing, but like it kind of felt empty and boring a little bit.
Okay.
We weren't on a Halo, you know, they didn't have co-op. There's a whole bunch of things missing.
Mm-hmm.
That was where it fell apart for me. Like the actual gameplay and playing Halo was amazing. And my memories of Halo just in my life, Halo is one of those franchises that has been with me every step of the way. Every new Halo game that came out, I played and loved. Got together with mates, we'd play through the Legendary campaign, you know, try and do it couch co-op or online if we had to. And then like slowly but surely they start to like remove some of these features. The fact that there was no co-op campaign, come on. Like that's whoever made that decision needs a smack on the bottom, because
They might not work there anymore.
Right, yeah. That was a bad decision. Even if it had to be online, even if they didn't have couch co-op and it was online, that's still better than what we got. But yeah, so like I said, like I'm excited for the move to Unreal. I think sure, Unreal has its issues, but like so does everything. It's going to be easier to bring these people on board and get them up to scratch quickly. Like you said, if they do need to bring on contractors who, like, you know, put it in the job ad, like, oh, you need to know how to use Unreal. I'm sure most people would, right? Who would know how to use their Slipgate system unless you worked there or had worked there previously? I just think it's a good move. I'm excited to see what they do. I don't know what they're going to do. Do you have any idea what they might do? Are we going to get a new Halo? Are we going to get remasters? Are we going to get... I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to say. I can imagine that we could see a Halo Combat Evolved remaster again, but it's made in Unreal Engine 5, or I don't know. I imagine we at least see one remaster before we get into anything as far as like what the future is. I would be surprised if we saw Infinite remade in it, or if we saw multiplayer remade in it. Yeah, I mean, because I feel like whenever it was first rumored, well, we don't really want to get into that, do we? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we see the results from this, it's gonna be for another 4 to 5 years, maybe. It's gonna be a while, but it will be a lot. Once we start seeing the content, it's gonna be churned out a lot faster. I think is what this entails, but There, am I wrong? Can you guys correct me if I'm wrong about this? Is there not? Did they not state that there's multiple projects going
Yeah, I
on?
think there's four. I think there's four projects happening.
I would be
What they are?
I would be curious as to if they're doing, like, I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it's a really wacky, like, what if they're doing a third person horror with Halo franchise that involves the flood?
Yep.
I mean, they're
Or a
playing
Halo
around.
Wars 3.
Yeah, or even a Halo Wars 3. But
They
yeah.
fucking better be.
Right,
Mm,
right.
yeah.
So, yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
like you said, the fact that they said, "Oh, by the way, we're going third person as well." Like, there's got to be a reason for that. They can't just have decided, "Oh, Call of Duty's doing third person, we should do it."
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a bigger reason than that, right?
Well, and my first takeaway whenever Russell did mention that the third person is happening, I was like, my first takeaway was the fact of cosmetics. It's,
Yeah, can
I
see them.
legitimately have people in my life. Tom, if you're listening, I'm talking about you. I legitimately have people in my life where it is a deal breaker to play a game where they can't see their cosmetics.
Hmm.
He's just like, well, I spent all this time customizing. Cyberpunk was his deal breaker. He was like, I
Yep.
spent all this time customizing my person and getting all this stuff. And he's like, I legit spent like an hour and a half, and then I never see my character at all. He's like, that's stupid. He's like, at least even with Starfield, at least when I pause the menu, I see my character. But he can also switch to third person in Starfield. So yeah, that's a deal breaker for some people. But Russell, I'm gonna have you take it away from here. We're at like an hour and 7 minutes.
I mean, if you don't mind, we can go a little bit longer today, I think.
I
But
don't mind.
No.
yeah. Definitely try to keep it under 2 hours, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're gonna go that long. So pushback on Halo Infinite not being finished. Any Halo multiplayer that doesn't launch with Forge is unfinished. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
I guess that's a
So
valid
now that I
argument.
got that, yeah, now that I got that out of the way, I've always liked Halo Infinite's campaign. It was the game that. So for me, I played Halo 1 and 2 years ago at the behest of a girlfriend at the time because I got an Xbox from a friend and it happened to come with those. I fucking hated playing Halo because she basically forced me into it. I have played Infinite. It's the one that kind of got me into the series.
Really?
I then bought the Master Chief Collection and have played 1, 2, and 3. I think I own 4 and 5 on Steam. I know that I own them physically on Xbox. I bought them all physically. Um, I think I'm
ODST,
still in it.
Russell. You need to.
I
ODST is
Oh,
incredible.
Yeah, I have Halo 3 ODST on
Yeah,
Xbox. I don't.
it's
So
incredible.
the way the Master Chief Collection works on Steam is I think you buy 1, 2, and 3 on a package. I think 4 and 5 can be included, but they're basically DLC, and I forget if ODST is included. Anyway, that's
Mm,
irrelevant.
yeah.
Anyway, um, so getting into the actual story, 343 or Halo Studios as they're being rebranded. Um, I think I think 343. I'm gonna call them 343 because it's what I've been calling them for years. I'll get used to the switch, but they can do good things. But they're notorious for launching something broken and kind of fixing it later. Case in point, the Master Chief Collection. Um, from what I understand, when that first launched, it was not in the best of orders, and then they kind of had to. I don't know if it was buggy or if just everything wasn't there and they added it later. But they have a reputation for that sort of thing. I think the Unreal Switch will fix some of that. I personally think instead of an engine switch, uh, so Microsoft has this 18-month rule where if you hire on outside help, independent contractors, you get them for 18 months and then you lay them off. It's just the way that Microsoft has always done shit. As near as I can tell, Activision and Bethesda are like Microsoft owns both of them, but they're being they seem to be being a little bit standoffish with them, more so than like a 343 or an Obsidian or something like that. Um, I wish they'd just fucking do that with 343 and do away with the 18-month thing, like just in general. Like obviously, if they're gonna continue to do that, the switch to Unreal 5 uh helps with that issue, but I don't see why. Like 343 has a lot of issues, but I think this is kind of a big issue, and rather than come up with a different way to solve it, I don't know why you wouldn't just do away with the 18-month contract thing. They've made exceptions before. I don't think Bethesda's under that draconian rule, so I don't know why 343 couldn't be. I've heard people talk about the engine that Team Halo or whatever was using and shitting all over it. I think if you all get brought up on using it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And the other thing is, a lot of, and I don't think it has to be this way, a lot of Unreal 5 games, the stutter issues that I brought up before are a pain in the ass. Supposedly, that's being kind of worked out with later versions of Unreal 5. We won't really know because the games using those later versions of the engine have not come out yet. We won't know if that's true or not. Those are just rumors. But a lot of them like play and feel the same to me anyway. They're all third person. They're all, behind. A lot of them are the kind of off to the left view, and they just kind of feel the same. And I don't know if that's the engine or if you just have a bunch of people going around studios that are working on the same type of games, and that is it. But everything in Unreal Engine like kind of feels samey to me now, and I don't really like it. One of the reasons I've pushed back on people wanting Bethesda to drop the Creation Engine is I think the Creation Engine, as shitty as it is, and one day we can talk about Starfield and how they went too big for their own good on that. Creation Engine is kind of what makes Bethesda games. So I'm hoping that this Switch doesn't cause Halo games to not feel like Halo games. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've already seen a couple content creators be like, no, you need to do away with old Halo and leave that in the past and move on to new. What are we going to do? Make it feel more like Call of Duty? Why wouldn't you just play Call of Duty? Why would you play Halo?
Yeah.
So people play Halo because it's Halo. But anyway, rant over.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of good points. Some of the stuff I hadn't even thought about. So, yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any thoughts, Fraser, on that?
No, I've said my piece.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's how I'm feeling too. But yeah, I'm glad you said all that, Russell. That was awesome. Yeah, so that concludes the news segment. I know we're at an hour and 13 minutes, and we've been trying to keep these episodes at an hour to an hour and a half. So I'd say the feedback for this week, guys, is do you want to hear out? Because I think coming back next week, we're going to again try to hit the hour and a half. Today, I don't think we're going to. I think we had a lot of stuff that we had planned for today, so we want to go ahead and churn out all that content. So the question I have for all of you guys is do you want to make sure that we're getting all of this news taken care of? Do you want all these news points hit? Or do you just want the biggest news talked about and then we move into everything we're about to talk about? If I could get your all's feedback on that, that would be fantastic. And you all have sent in feedback. 13 Carry gave feedback. Steve sent feedback. Dano sent feedback. Y'all have been awesome. So thank you for that. So the next segment we're going to go into, we'll kind of keep it somewhat quick, but Russell will definitely take it away because we want to give him the chance to talk about what he's been reviewing this week. So, Fraser, you want to take it away? What came out this week, and what did it review?
Yeah, so we've had it's been a pretty big week, to be honest, and it's been a big week of big games. So we had the Starfield expansion came out. Whether you liked it or not, I think it got mixed reviews. I unfortunately haven't played it. Russell, you played it a bit, didn't you?
I played it for about an hour on stream.
Oh, really? Is that all?
Yeah, that was about it. I haven't really. It was more of a test to see if my PC could handle running something that big, and
Mm-hmm.
surprise, surprise, it did. Um, Something weird is going on with Starfield, where for some reason Core 1 of my CPU is only running at single digit percents, which is odd. But anyway, that's nerd shit. um, what I played, I liked so far. I thought it was pretty cool. Basically, I've just gotten into like the space station, and you find these weird ghost people, and you're following one of them, and you're shooting the ones that are shooting at you. Uh, they sometimes
Sounds
know you're there, they sometimes don't. Um, and that's basically as far as I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the biggest thing people are saying is like there's no new ships. It's have being set on that one planet is great. Having like non-random spawning points of interest is great too. I just don't think that there was much to it for their first DLC. But our reviewer, Demandre, he gave it a 7.5 out of 10. So he enjoyed it.
He's feeling a little high on it.
Yeah.
that's higher than most.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the looks of it, it's getting around a 6. So
It's at, I need to look it up, I guess. I think it's at like a 33% on Steam.
ooh.
Yeah,
But
the
Starfield
Steam.
always has weird things. People don't like it because it's in space. Like it's yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
very weird. Open Critic
So-
is sitting on a 60. So that's not, take that how you feel. I'm still going to play it when I finally get around to it. I'm excited about it.
On Steam, it's got almost 3,000 critic reviews, and it's sitting at a 30%.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly negative. Is the
Okay.
official classification.
Mostly negative. All right. Well, that's sad because, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're moving on. Vessel of Hatred also was released this week. Myself, Nathan, and Kyle got a sneak peek at it a few weeks ago. I think this is just as good as the base game, if not better. I feel like very easily this could have been the base game.
Yep.
I found the story to be a little bit more engaging and a little bit more like not all doom and gloom. There is like a little bit of hope in the darkness, which everybody needs to hear at some point. But yeah, so that's sitting on an 86 at the moment. Our reviewer Kyle gave it an 85 or an 8.5. So I would agree with that.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Nathan? Happy with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it does seem like the more reviews I see come out, I'm like, I feel more validified in our feelings and thoughts on it because I'm like, okay, yeah, I think everybody pretty much had the same experience, if not higher than we did. Because I've seen some people from the chat be like, oh yeah, no, it's like a 9.5. And when I say chat, I mean like some of the other critics. So it's awesome, dude. I'm having a fantastic time with it. It's that's we've gone on so much about it. I'm gonna try not to get carried away.
Yeah, that's right. What else? Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. I am not a fighter game player. I will dabble in Mortal Kombat. That's really as far as I go.
Same.
But because of Dragon Ball, it's got a special place in my heart. I haven't watched it for years, but I remember rushing home from school to watch it. and sitting there for 30 minutes while someone powers up a spirit bomb, and you're like, is he gonna do it this week? And then it's like, next week on Dragon Ball Z, and then he's like, oh. um so I would love to play this. My plate is so full at the moment that I'm just not going to get a chance. But again, it's been praised. 82, sitting on 8.2 at the moment, so pretty happy about that.
From
What
my
else we got?
understanding, that's a game that fans, like long-time fans, have been waiting a long time for that game, and
Yeah.
it's like a dream come true for some people. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, I've just seen some few videos on some social medias and stuff, and like it does look fun. It almost looks like the sort of thing that you could just sprinkle in here and there. Like, you don't need to fully invest into it. I know that there's a couple of the guys on the Interactive Distractions podcast that are very big into fighting games, so I'll definitely be taking a listen to them and seeing what they feel about it. Right, what else have we got? Until Dawn remake.
Oh, that
I've
came
got-
out. Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
didn't do well.
That didn't do too well. But funnily enough, as horrible as everyone says it is, it's still got a higher score than Starfield. So
Oh man, oof.
I words cannot express how I feel about this.
Big oof.
Yeah. I've got nothing to say about it.
Gotta
I
hate
haven't
it.
played it, and I will not play it.
Oh really?
Russell?
It's super good.
Yeah. Oh no, the remake. I'll
okay.
probably play it at some point.
I never played the original. I looked into it when the remake was announced. And while everyone was shitting on the $60 price tag, I was like, that's a little steep for what I'm like reading about it as far as like length and what it is. I was like, but I might give it a shot. And then it just came out a busted mess. So,
Yeah.
You could probably pick it up secondhand for $5 somewhere and just play it, because it's what, PlayStation 4?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is I tap out as far as my available consoles. I tap out at PS3 and Vita as far as PlayStation's concerned.
Yeah.
I think I've told the story about borrowing a PlayStation 4 from a friend and paying $20 for The Last of Us Part 2 to play and beat that, and then I gave the PS4 back, and now I have a copy of I have a copy of The Last of Us Part 2 laying around. I can't play.
Yep.
To be fair, totally worth it. I know that seems stupid, but you got to remember, we collectively, I think, grew up in the 90s. Rental stores were really common.
Yep.
That's what it would have cost to rent a game for, like, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks. So
I remember growing up, the rule in my house, because we didn't have a console, if I was sick for more than 2 days, I would be like, Mum would go down to the rental store and get me a console. And I remember it being $20 to hire a PlayStation for one night. And boy, those were some days. Like, sitting at home all sick, bundled up, playing PlayStation. Can't get much better than that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably keep an eye out for a secondhand copy of Until Dawn for the PS4 and just play through that. What else we got? Just a couple of honorable mentions, I guess. Starship Troopers came out yesterday for console. I talked about it before. I'm really enjoying it. It is a lot of fun. Do you want to look up the reviews on Steam, Russell? I think it's like pretty high. I think I saw some reviews somewhere, and it was like,
I want to say you're correct on that. Just give me like 30 seconds here.
the only negative thing I have to say about it is the servers. If you're gonna make me play a 2-hour mission and my server crashes because of your nonsense, that's gonna put me off real quick.
Yeah.
So that's Starship Troopers Extermination, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
There's more than one Starship Troopers game on Steam, so I just
right. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
What are those looks for?
I'm a little confused. So according to this, it dropped on October the 10th this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So they must have did an update or something. So overall, it's very positive at 25,981 reviews. It's got an 84 positive. However, the recent reviews are mixed. 377, 61%. That sounds like an update did something that people didn't like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, it's the
Yeah, 'cause
11th at time of recording this. That's crazy.
yeah. So 25,000 reviews in one day. Now I do know that it came out. It's been out on PC for quite a while.
Yeah.
We just had the port come to
Yeah.
us. But yeah, like I said, like if without the server problems, it'd be a solid 7.5 or 8 for me.
Mhm.
I'm having so much fun with it, but the server crashing,
Yeah.
like that brings it way down.
Right.
Like I'll give it 1 or maybe 2 more tries, and then
Mhm.
I'm out. Almost to the point where I might even ask for a refund if I
Yeah.
can't. All right, moving on from Starship Troopers. There's a new Transformers racing game that came out called Transformers Galactic Trials.
Drop what you're doing. Go run and play it right now.
Apparently, it's really shit. So
Aww.
that's really upsetting.
What?
The
No.
so it's a racing game. So you're on a track racing, and there's parts where you need to transform into a robot to shoot some enemies while you're racing. So
Okay.
I don't have an opinion on that at all. We'll let Lady V. I
Yeah.
believe it's Lady V. She's doing
The
the
review.
review for it at the moment. So
So to be fair, because I looked it up on Steam because you were describing it, I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And then you're like, apparently it's shit. To be fair, it's got an 81% on Steam. However, it launched today. It's got 11 reviews.
yeah,
Oof.
but
So that 81% at that level, that doesn't mean a lot.
Oh my gosh.
oh
I say, was that the last of it for reviews?
no, there's two more.
Okay, go for it. I was
Um,
gonna say let's wait for Silent Hill 2 talk with
yeah,
your question corner.
with our big boy
Yeah.
Crushel. So SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game, was released this. No, sorry, it was released last week. We missed
Okay,
it,
yeah.
but this is a physics-based sandbox. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it looks really
Like
cool.
kind of like Goat Simulator, but you're
Uh-huh.
Patrick Star. I'm for it. Like I said, my week and my next couple of weeks are so full. I would love to be able to get a chance to play this, but I just don't know when.
Same.
But keep informed because I'll play it because it looks great.
Okay. What's
And then
the reviews on it?
I didn't see.
Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay.
didn't see. I
Yeah.
think it was mixed. I think it was
Okay.
in the 60s or the 70s.
Okay.
Which again doesn't mean it's a bad game.
No. Mm-mm.
It just means that it's not for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it looks
Finally,
like Goat Simulator, but licensed.
yeah. Which again, like, who doesn't love SpongeBob
Right.
SquarePants?
Exactly.
It's and then the last one, which I probably should have started with because it looks like it's going to be like in contender for Game of the Year, but that's Metaphor Refantasio.
Oh,
Refantasio.
yeah.
Whatever that is. I have not played any Persona games. I don't ever see myself playing a Persona game, but the way people are talking about this, maybe at some point I might have to give it a go. I still haven't played Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
So maybe 1 year.
Eh.
Maybe
well, I
1
don't
year
mean that
I'll
against
do
Baldur's Gate 3, my bad.
yeah, maybe 1 year I'll do a Game of the Year of the last 5 years and just play through. But like these kind of, I guess you call it a JRPG or even RPGs in general for me at the moment, they're just too big. I don't have the time to put into it. And I'm the sort of person that will try and experience everything. So when I look up how long does it take to beat, I'm one of those people that's like, oh, but if you like to try everything, add 100 hours. I don't have that sort of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's sitting on a 92 at the moment, and like I said, that's going to be in a lot of people's game of the year talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that was that.
can I give you some advice though? The reason I made that noise was because I kind of went through that exact same thing when I got my PlayStation 5, because it was like, all right, time to go through and play all these PS4 games that I missed out on. I had played Spider-Man beforehand, so that wasn't a part of the mix, but I played in one summer. I played Ghost of Tsushima, God of War 2017 or 2018 or whatever it was. I played, oh shoot, I played a whole Elden Ring. I played a whole bunch of other like game of game of the century type games all in one year. And it really desensitized me to what a good video game is. So like by the time I was done with it, I was kind of like having this video game hangover of like nothing felt good to me anymore. I'm like, none of these games are hitting for me, and like I was just Mr. Negative Nancy. So if I was you, if I could go back in time, I would sprinkle it. Be like, okay, I'm gonna play a Ghost of Tsushima here, and now I'm gonna go back to Call of Duty, and or like whenever you do finally visit Astrobot, play Astrobot, and then go like play Space Marine 2 for a little while and do some operations before getting into Baldur's Gate 3. Because my gosh, whenever you do get into Baldur's Gate 3, whew, just strap in. It's going to be 180 hours. I promise.
See, that's what happened with Ragnarok for me. So I played Death Stranding, absolutely loved it to death. Bought the PlayStation 4, then bought God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. And I finished 2018 and I went straight into Ragnarok, and I was like, more?
Yeah. Yep.
And I know that Ragnarok's a brilliant game, but I was overstimulated with God of War, and I just needed something different.
Absolutely.
And so I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah.
I will, but I haven't done that yet. Just as Russell's left, I was gonna do that segue. I was gonna give him the perfect pass.
The
Silent
Steam...
Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into your Fraser's question corner then, and while I respond to you, I can go and while Russell responds to you, I can go and grab Megan.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay. Well, Fraser's question corner with the talk of ReFantasio and everything like that. Where are you sitting so far with your game of the year? Like, have you got something locked in, or is it kind of a to be determined?
Definitely a to be determined. Yeah, it's definitely to be determined. I mean, because if you would have asked me 2 or 3 months ago, I would have said it was Hellblade 2. And then Space Marine 2 came out, and I was like, you know what, this might be it. And then Astrobot came out, and I was like playing both of those games at the same time, and I'm like, they're so polar opposite of each other, but they're so great in their own ways. But it's like, if I'm sitting here being like a critic, it's Astrobot. If I'm sitting here being Nathan, it might be Space Marine 2. But that's just so far. We still have Dragon Age. So, we will see. So, my official response is Space Marine 2 or Astrobot. How about you, Fraser?
Yeah, well, Russell, the question is like, do you have a solid game of the year at the moment, or are you kind of still about some things? Nathan is to be determined or unconfirmed at the moment. I am just about to say asked me 3 months ago, and it was my game of the year is Banishers. It was such a gorgeous game, and I loved every second of it. But then Space Marine 2 came out, and I was like, Banishers, what's that? So yeah, it has, for me, it has to be Space Marine 2. It's kind of, I didn't realize how much of a basic game I needed. Like like Nathan was talking about before, just being like overwhelmed by all these incredible games. I'm not saying that Space Marine 2 isn't incredible, because it is, but it's just so basic that it's hard to not just fall in love with it. It's got the amazing campaign. It's got the PvP, if that's your thing. Sure, it's not great, but it's fun. And then it's got the PvE at the end, which I guess you would call like the end game. It's got it all, and so far that's me, Space Marine 2.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, sorry for disappearing. I've had to pee
No.
for like 40 minutes.
Oh, you're
and I
fine.
knew this was coming up. So
Yeah,
I was
I've
like,
just
I
got a
better
cup.
go now.
I've just got a cup down here.
Just mute the mic.
Those are the type of those are the type of fourth walls we don't need to break.
You know what, Fraser? What was it, last week or the week before? Like straight up, like took his pants off mid episode, and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
Whatever. So up until this past Saturday, I probably would have said gory, cuddly carnage.
Yeah, I remember you have talked nothing but good things about that.
That is just stupid, mindless fun. And oddly enough, I think that it's stupid, mindless fun that like also has a weirdly touching comedic story to me anyway. That I like the game so much. Two streamers I follow, Cult Classic Cage and Minxie One. Hopefully I'm not like damning myself for mentioning those two. But I actually bought it for both of them. I know Cassie has already played it and she really likes it. She told me as much in DMs. Minxie still has yet to play it, but anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. Really, really liked the game. So until Saturday, that's what I would have said.
Yeah.
As you guys know, I think I have actually been more optimistic about Silent Hill 2 than most people online, at least until that last trailer. And then all of a sudden, there was this 180, and I was like, where the fuck have you guys all been? Because I have watched each consecutive trailer, and the first one, I was very vocal of the fact that I was like, that looks terrible. I was like, but we still got a ways to go. Because I think even then it hadn't even been dated yet. And for me, a lot of people disagree. Every single trailer after that, the game started looking a little bit better. And I was like, okay, well, maybe these are just older builds. And I think my theory on that may have been proven correct. Now, I want to get the one kind of hiccup out of the way. I don't think I want to spoil. Well, I kind of already have. Anyway, maybe get into the score. I gave it later, but it's in Unreal 5, which I didn't actually even somehow like went over my head. I found that out. Well, not launch day, but I paid the extra $10 for the early access, so I found that out the day that it was launching, and I was like, oh no. There's this thing we call on PC gaming called the Unreal 5 stutter bus. Unfortunately, it is on the stutter bus.
Oh no.
So, I do want to say, so with my experience with it, the first, I would break Silent Hill 2 up into 4 different acts, and for people that have played Silent Hill 2, you'll probably understand where I'm coming from with that. There's kind of 4 main, how can I put you? There's kind of 4 main conflicts in it. You could almost call them levels. So there's 4 main areas. The first quarter of the game, it was really, really prevalent. The second act, we'll call it, became much less. And the second half of the entire game, I barely noticed it at all. I thought with the third act of the game, since it's mostly underground, that maybe that's what's going on. It was just less demanding. But then I came out the other side, got to the you get on a boat and you go across the lake, and you go into another hotel, or it's more like a resort, I guess. But anyway, so you go in there, and I didn't really notice much. There was hiccups here and there, but it was very, very minor. There was an update that dropped. It's like 1.003. There was no patch notes, but all we know is that it fixed a language translation thing for Italian, so that may have been all that was. But I did notice after the patch supposedly dropped that it got better, but maybe that's just a coincidence because I was progressing through the game. But that was the one hiccup. I have started on New Game Plus. I am currently in the first quarter of the game and have not noticed nearly as many issues. These things tend to they might be a traversal stutter issue, in which case it should be reappearing. If it's a shader compilation issue, it would make sense that it would be less the second time through. It's just the way they work. But again, it got better after the update, so I don't know. So all of that aside, as anyone that reads my articles will know, I'm a big fan of the first game. I was afraid with Blooper Team. I didn't know if they were gonna. I've played a few Blooper Team games. They don't do boss fights, not before Silent Hill 2. So I was worried about that. Glad to say that not only did they do the boss fights well, they improved on them. The boss fights in the original seemed pretty claustrophobic. They expanded on it. Puzzles are great if you're a puzzle person. I think Frazier, I'd mentioned to you that there was different difficulties for the puzzles, and then the combat difficulty. They brought that back, so that's still a thing. God, I don't know how much I want to get. I don't really want to get in the story too much. I could just keep fucking talking about this shit. I really, really loved my time with this game. Anyone that follows my Twitter will notice I just got done playing Dead Space Remake, and I've put out a fairly few tweets that I've tagged EA in. That's like, hey, this is a masterpiece. EA, fix the traversal stutter. It's fucking horrible. For whatever reason, it didn't seem as aggressive in this. I can't confirm that it's a traversal stutter and not a compilation stutter issue. But anyway, it's one of the two. It didn't pull me out of the game as much for whatever reason. The combat's not quite as smooth. It is a little janky even without but I think that kind of lends it to the game, if that makes sense, because I mean, I played the original 2 earlier this year, and tank controls, so I think that kind of like paid homage to the original a lot.
Did the camera angle change do anything for you? Did it make it better? Did it make it worse? Is it just different?
So, it's almost unfair to say it's a camera change, because if you play the original, a lot of it, particularly outside of the buildings, a lot of it is like third person, but it's still got the old Resident Evil tank controls where like you'll get in a hallway in a building, and then all of a sudden it's like overhead view, and then you go down the hallway and turn, and then it's behind you, and then you turn the next hallway and it's in front of you, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Obviously the remake's got none of that. I got a funny feeling I'm gonna eat these words later. So no, with remakes, I think it's fair to say Dead Space remake, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, and to a lesser degree Resident Evil 3 for some people. I think Resident Evil 3 is up there with 2, the remake, but that's neither here nor there. So those are like kind of heralded as like what a remake should be. I think Silent Hill 2 is better than them.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be called a fanboy for that, I'm sure.
Hey man, there's
I-
nothing
I-
wrong with that.
No.
I was totally expecting to love this game, and what this podcast is going to drop at like what, Sunday, something like that. Maybe tomorrow?
I'm gonna try to upload it as soon as we're done, because that's how I did it
Alright,
last
well-
week.
Well, some people have already. All right, I fucking gave it a 10. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be goodly enough to actually read my review.
Mhm.
I'm trying not to like get too into it because I want to give someone a reason to actually go and read it.
You okay?
I don't know, man. I just there's always been something about this series, and I always said for a long time like I was more of a Resident Evil guy, but there's something about Silent Hill 2. It was the first game I'd played like that, as far as like, and you can throw the original Resident Evils in that, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
The original Resident Evils like did it in more of like a campy B horror over the top sort of way, where like the voice acting was never, not until way later anyway. The voice acting was never taken too seriously or anything, as were the original Silent Hill games. I don't think I'm sure Silent Hill 2 was not the first game to use motion capture. I'm sure about that, 3D motion capture. But it was a big part of the second game, and the way they did that. So I think at least the original team that worked on the original 4 took it very seriously. I've had some things to say about later games, and they're hit and miss. I like some of them. I detest Book of Shadows, as I brought up in my review. I was expecting to like this game.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to fall in love with this remake.
Yeah.
I've rambled a lot. I will close out by saying something I said at the end of my review. I have gone out of my way to not talk politics on this podcast or on the website, and I'm sticking to that. However, if you are not playing this game because of who may or may not have been involved with any decision making in this game, you are making a giant mistake.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Giant mistake.
So, if you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to answer this question, but you are the guy who wrote the Silent Hill love letter on our website, and we did a whole podcast dedicated to it at one point. And while watching you talk about it, I can tell like you almost seem like you're on the verge of tears. Am I wrong? or it's just that you're very deep in thought. Like what is it about Silent Hill 2 that has such a deep resonation for you? Like I said, you don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
Let's just say something very. I've played these games for a long time. As you two know, something very personal happened to me last year.
Oh.
And if you play these games, you'll understand why I've gone out of my way to cover them this year.
Okay. Okay. Say no more. I understand. Yeah, I see. I haven't played Silent Hill 2, so I don't know what I'm asking. Yeah, that's okay.
But for you to say that it's better than the Resident Evil remakes, like I was always going to play this, it might need to be moved up. Like, because those Resident Evil remakes were brilliant.
Well,
Like
this,
two.
I mean, bear in mind, even the remake, I would say, I mean, don't get me wrong, Resident Evil's always had horror elements. I think the remakes actually do a better job as far as survival horror goes
Yep.
in the scare aspect. Anyway, you could argue about what makes a survival horror game. It's going to mean something a little different to everyone depending on whether you grew up in the '90s or whether you're more modern. But this is definitely more horror, I would say, than Resident Evil is. They always have been. With like the satanic imagery, if you want to dig into metaphors about it and the occult and like double entendres, there's a lot of hidden meanings with Silent Hill games.
Okay.
Anyway, I could keep talking.
I am, dude, like, you sold me the whole entire time I was listening to you talk about this. I'm just thinking, like, how can I just last minute throw some money together and buy a brand new game right now? I really, really want to play this right now. And I have dude, I'm like on the verge of tears just watching you talk about it. So I'm really, I'm gonna be thinking about you while I play it. I've got to play this game now. I'll keep you updated. You sold me. You sold me.
Yeah. Well, with that ending, so it looks like we've all got a different game of the year.
Yes.
So far.
Yes.
Should we move on to the next bit?
I don't know. It seems like Silent Hill 2 should definitely be in the discussion for me and you too. Me and you just haven't played it. Okay, so we've got 2 more segments, but we are an hour and 51 minutes in. And again, I think a lot of this is us just dealing with some growing pains, trying out new things. We have a Steam thing that Russell has put together. Do you want to get into it this episode?
What if
or do you want to do that next week? It's up to you.
Well, I was gonna say, what if we
Megan did fall asleep. She gave me a list of the.
Okay.
She fell asleep, so I have a list of questions.
What if we snip it here? This is the episode, and then we do some like after shit that we can release later in the week or whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah, we'll just drop like an actual segment of just the Steam questions, and then ask and see if you guys want to see that in the main episode.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's just do that. Let's end on one question. I'll ask you guys one question because I asked Megan beforehand. I was like, "Hey, so are you gonna run games?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "We're gonna do video game 20 questions or whatever." And she's like, "Okay, I'll figure out something." Bless her heart. She was over there putting together a list of 20 questions. so she's like, "Nathan, I only wrote up 10 questions," and she texted me all the questions and answers just now. She was like, "Just in case I fall asleep," and I just went and checked on her. She is asleep. So I will ask you guys one of the questions that she came up with. Some of these questions are really fucking hard. Like, just an example, one of the questions, and I'm not asking this one, is in Grand Theft Auto 5, what was the name of the protagonist, Franklin Clinton's dog? I have no idea.
How the fuck would I know that?
I know, right?
I love it.
But one question I will ask is, a man died after playing video games for 19 straight hours. What was the man's name?
Is that all?
Yeah.
What a fucking week, dude.
I know, right?
19 hours.
There's Twitch streamers that do 24-hour streams.
Right. Do you guys know what video game he was playing for 19 hours straight that he died through?
Oh. Sorry.
Is it World of Warcraft?
Oh my gosh, you got it.
I mean, after the South Park episode, that doesn't surprise me.
But I must say, rookie numbers.
All right, exactly.
That's a great question. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
You can
Yeah.
thank Megan for that one. She's got some
He must
juicy
have just
Diablo
not
2
drank
questions in there,
and
too.
not ate, not
Nope.
gone to the bathroom, and then just passed. That's
Yep.
insane.
Yep. And
He
you know,
should have taken the cue from South Park and just called his mom like Cartman did, so he could shit in a bucket.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's the thing is like I feel like I don't know. Sometimes situations like that, you gotta wonder like maybe the person was a diabetic and just didn't tell anybody. Because I worked with a guy, no
Yeah.
idea he
Yeah.
was diabetic, and he never told anybody, and he passed away. Like he was only like 43, and like it just surprised
Like at
everybody.
work or
Like, well, no,
Like
he
at
wasn't
work or
at
just-
work, but it's like a guy I worked with. He was just like, yeah, just
Hmm.
out of nowhere, passed away, and they were like, oh yeah, like his sugar was too low, and we were like, what? Like, that's crazy. So yeah,
I
it's
mean,
pretty wild.
some people don't like talking about health issues.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But this has been a great episode. Again, let us all know what your feedback is on this. Stay tuned this week. We will drop a random small episode on the Steam segment. We're still trying to come up with a name for it. So, thank you so much for sharing your review on Silent Hill 2, Russell. And thank you, Fraser, for putting together the whole Open Critic segment.
No, my pleasure. I really enjoyed it actually. Yeah. Yep.
But thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you all later.
Ciao.